Hello once again. Have you come to a point in your life when you're about to give up? Some of you may be at that point today. You may be saying, I'm ready to give up on this marriage. Or I am ready to give up on my career. Some of you may be are saying, I am ready to give up on my life. What do you do when you hit that point when you feel down? What do you do when there seems to be no more answers or no more way to turn to? What do you do? Ano nga bang gagawin mo kapag parang ayaw mo nang mabuhay? Parang wala nang saysay at wala nang dahilan para magpatuloy. Parang nawalan ka ng pag-asa. Today we'll be looking at the life of the prophet Elijah. During those moments in his life when he feels so down that he wanted to give up. Remember the time when in 1 Kings chapter 18, there was a miracle in the nation of Israel. Elijah confronted the false prophets of Baal, and God sent fire from heaven at Mount Carmel, and that day the whole nation turned back to God. It's a once-in-a-lifetime miracle. Elijah experienced the power of God. The nation experienced the power of God. But in 1 Kings chapter 19, Queen Jezebel was so angry. She sent death threat to Elijah. She sent a messenger telling Elijah that she was planning to kill him. So Elijah ran for his life in fear. Can you imagine? God brought a miracle. God sent a powerful revival to the nation of Israel, and here was Elijah running for his life, afraid of Jezebel, hiding in a cave and saying, God, please, kill me now. Parang, Panginoon, ayoko nang mabuhay. Hindi ko na kaya. Ito daw yung panahon sa buhay ni Elijah na parang bigla siyang nawalan ng lakas at tatag, nawalan ng tapang, at parang nayayanig yung kanyang pananampalataya. Today we'll be looking at that. This is a classic sign of burnout that turned to depression. We'll be trying to understand what are the signs of depression through the life and the journey and the experience of the prophet Elijah. You may not be needing this message today, but someday you will. Or maybe there are people around you who needs this message. This is one of the messages that you hold on to until one day when you go through difficult times, when you go through dark days, when you go through bad times, you will be needing this message. So let's begin. Usapan nga natin, ano nga ba ang mga simptomas at mga senyales na ang isang tao ay depressed? Sabi nila, depressed ka daw kapag parang ang lungkot-lungkot mo at parang very empty, very sad, very anxious yung mood mo. Another sign of depression daw ay parang you feel hopeless and useless. Parang palagay mo ay wala nang pakinabang ang buhay mo. Wala ka ng halaga bilang tao. Very pessimistic. Tapos, depressed ka daw kapag punong-puno ka ng feelings of guilt, worthlessness, helplessness. Tapos, you have lost interest. Parang yung mga dati mong gustong gawin, ayaw mo nang gawin, hindi ka na masaya, wala ka ng gana. Ito rin yung mga panahon na parang hindi ka makatulog, ikot ka ng ikot, hindi ka mapanatag. You lost your appetite, parang nawawalan ka ng ganang kumain, nawawalan ka na rin ng timbang. And then, meron mga thoughts of death, parang gusto mo nang mamatay. Thoughts of suicide. Tapos, very restless, very irritable, parang lagi kang galit. Ang mga physical symptoms din daw ng depression ay parang laging masakit ang ulo mo, parang laging kumukulo ang tiyan mo, merong chronic pain at mga digestive disorders na nangyayari sa'yo. And so if you know someone who's going through symptoms like this, or if you feel symptoms like this, then you are going through what they call depression. Paano ba nangyayari ang depression? Ito yung una. You usually feel down after a stressful work. No? Weeks and weeks of stressful work. After some time, you will feel down. And this feeling can lead to depression. Another is after a relational conflict. Kapag tapos nyo mag-away ng mahal mo, or meron kang kaibigan na nakabangga mo, at di kayo magkasundo, nagkakatampuhan kayo ng kasama mo sa trabaho, o kasama mo sa pamilya, o mahal mo sa buhay, this can lead to a feeling of depression. Or after a physical exhaustion, kapag ang katawan ay pagod na pagod at parang patang-pata, latang-lata. So if you could ask Elijah on this day what he had done, he's very, very exhausted. He confronted an entire nation. He challenged the entire cult of the followers of Baal and confronted them. He fought them. Tapos nag-fasting and prayer pa siya for fire from heaven to come down. Talagang pagod na pagod nga naman si Elijah. He called on God intensely until it rained. And then he ran 20 miles ahead of a man in a chariot. Takbo siya ng mabilis. Do you think Elijah was tired? He is very, very tired. So when you're tired, you are vulnerable to discouragement that leads to depression. Yan ho nangyari kay Elijah. Another cause of depression is after a major victory. Minsan daw kapag nasa tugatog tayo ng tagumpay, biglang kinabukasan, parang baksak yung pakiramdam. Depression. Elijah saw the whole nation of Israel come to revival all at once. After a very high experience comes a very, very low feeling. Ganito rin yung mga experience ng mga nagcha-champion sa sports or nanalo ng trophy, nanalo ng medalya. Ito rin yung mga feeling ng mga estudyante after they feel so happy getting their diploma, finishing their graduation. After a while, they feel so unfulfilled the following weeks. Ito rin yung mga professionals. They wonder why they feel so lonely after getting that promotion. Ayan. So after a major victory, usually we experience depression. And then after a huge disappointment, Elijah was expecting Ahab and Jezebel to come to God, to turn back to God. But instead, they retaliated with hate. So, you know when you are down and devastated or depressed, when, number one, when you depreciate your self-worth, when you put yourself down, you are probably going through depression. Yan, kapag parang minamaliit mo yung sarili mo at parang sinasabi mo na wala ka ng kwenta at wala namang halaga yung ginagawa mo. There's a little voice going on inside you, in your mind, saying, I am nobody. My life does not matter. I'm insignificant. I don't count. I don't have a value. Yan. So, it plays over and over in your mind. Parang may naglalarong recording sa isip mo na wala akong kwenta, wala akong silbi, wala akong halaga. Malalaman mo na you are down and devastated and depressed. When you start doing that, you are headed for depression. Remember in 1 Kings 19:4, Elijah came to a broom tree, sat down under it and prayed, Take my life. I am no better than my ancestors. So he's comparing himself to his ancestors and saying, I'm no better than those guys. That tells us one of the first causes of depression is comparing. Kapag kinukumpara na natin yung sarili natin sa iba, parang mas magaling yung iba. Mahina ako, wala akong silbi, hindi ako magaling. When you start comparing yourself to somebody else, you're setting yourself up for an emotional burnout. What you tend to do is to compare your life with the accomplishments of other people. I'm not doing good enough. Yan. The second is when you undervalue your work, you are on your way to depression. In 1 Kings chapter 19, verse 19, it says, sabi ni Elijah, I have worked hard for the Lord God of the heavens, but the people of Israel have broken their covenant with you and have torn down your altars. So minamaliit ni Elijah yung kanyang accomplishments. Parang sinisisi niya yung sarili niya. Palpak ako. Yung mga nagawa ko ay palpak. Elijah was a man of God, a teacher of truth. Yet he blamed himself for the things that were not his fault. He was to tell people what God wanted them to do. But they were not listening, and the nation was falling apart morally because they had some bad leaders. He's teaching and preaching, and they weren't changing their ways. And then he blames himself. Kasalanan ko ito eh. Ayan. This is the second major cause of burnout. Trying to control everything. You're acting as if the whole world rests on your shoulders. Parang nasa iyo lahat nakasalalay ang mga nangyayari sa paligid mo. I have to make sure everything's going to turn out all right. Yan. Yan daw yung tendency to control everything. I have to hold everything together. I have to work everything out. It is all up to me. I have to make it all work out. If you have that tendency, you're setting yourself up for burnout and depression. When you try to be the general manager of the universe, you see, this is the burden only God can carry. God never intended for you to carry the whole universe. So minsan daw, mas mainam sa atin na malaman kung ano yung mga bagay na may control ka at may mga bagay na hindi mo control. In that way, you will not burn out and you will not be depressed if things do not go out the way you wanted it to. There are lots of things in your life that are out of your control. You never will be able to control many things. This is the third cause of burnout and depression. When you exaggerate your problems. Kapag ka parang pinapalaki mo yung maliliit na problema, yun, tendency for burnout and depression. When you tend to overemphasize what's wrong in our lives and we ignore God's blessing in our lives. Pagka ang binibilang mo na at ang tinututukan mo na ay yung mga problema at nakakaligtaan mong bilangin at tutukan yung mga pagpapala. We always focus on the negative rather than the positive. We see the cup half empty instead of half full. If you're always focusing on the negative in your life, if that's all you ever look at, if you're always putting yourself down, if you're always seeing everything negative, you're setting yourself up for burnout and depression. Sabi ni Elijah, I'm the only one left and they're trying to kill me. God, I'm the only person in the whole world who lives for you and loves you, and they're trying to kill me too. Now he is so drained emotionally, spiritually, physically, talagang baksak na siya. Pakiramdam niya, mag-isa na lang siya at wala nang sumusunod na Diyos, siya na lang. He can't even focus on reality. He can't get the picture right. Have you ever been that tired? Sobrang pagod mo, hindi mo na makitang tama lahat ng mga nangyayari. Puro negative ang nakikita mo. Have you ever been so worn out that you can't think straight? You can't see what really is happening. And you think the whole world is caving in on you. So parang pakiramdam mo, wala nang nangyayaring tama. Ayan, puro negative, ano? Parang ganun din ho ako, ano? Masyado akong negative. I'm a pessimist. I see the worst things. I see what's wrong instead of seeing what is right. I see the dark side of circumstances instead of seeing the brighter side of things. This is what Elijah is doing. Parang sinasabi niya, God, I am the only one that's trying to do the right thing. Pero nalimutan niya, a few days earlier, the whole nation has turned back to God. Hindi totoo na nag-iisa lang siyang sumusunod sa Diyos. In fact, God tells him a little later in the chapter, Elijah, there were 7,000 true believers, all of whom have never bowed down to an idol. He wasn't the only one. But he's exaggerating the problem. Yun ang nangyayari kapag ka-burnout na tayo at saka depressed. Parang nakikita natin yung puro mali at yung maliit pinalalaki natin. This is the third cause of burnout, emotional reasoning. Emotional reasoning is when you listen to your feelings rather than the facts. You focus on how you feel rather than on what's reality. What's the truth? Feelings lie. So just because you feel something doesn't mean it's true. Pakiramdam ni Elijah, mag-isa na lang siya na sumusunod sa Diyos. Pero the fact is, there are thousands of other believers who are loyal to God. Feelings can be wrong. Feelings are highly unreliable. This is the fourth cause of burnout. When you give up on your dreams. When you feel down, you lose your vision. Kapag ka baksak ang pakiramdam mo, talagang parang nawawala na rin yung mga pangarap mo sa buhay. You forget your goals. You basically want to give up. You're so emotionally, physically, spiritually drained. You just want to give up. And you stop caring. Parang wala ka ng pakialam. Notice what Elijah said. Lord, take my life. I've had enough. Ayoko na, Lord. Ayawan na. Suko na ako. When you are depressed, you lose hope and you stop caring. This happens in relationships all the time, di ba? If you're in a relationship where you constantly have conflict, away kayo ng away, lagi kayo nagtatampuhan, di kayo magkasundo, after a while, you start feeling drained, kakapagod, and then you stop caring. That's why it takes more than love to make a marriage work. Hindi puro love. It takes commitment, it takes character, it takes integrity, it takes maturity, it takes a lot of hard work, it takes unselfishness to make a marriage work. You can't always control your feelings, but you can control your character and your commitment. Elijah said that he wanted to die. Lord, gusto ko nang mamatay. I've had enough. It's just not worth it. I'm ready to throw the towel. I want to die. Yan, parang sinasabi ni Elijah, Lord, suko na ako, ayoko na. That's the ultimate case of burnout and depression. When you say, I'm giving up. You may be at that point today. You may be saying, I'm ready to give up. What do you do? What do you do when you hit that point, when you feel down, burnt out, depressed? How do you get up when you are down? Here's the first. First, rest your body. This is what we learned from Elijah. In verses 4 to 8, Elijah has said, Lord, take my life. I'm no better than my ancestors. I've had enough. Then he laid down under the tree and fell asleep. All at once the angel touched him and said, Get up and eat. Look around you. And there by his head was a cake of bread over hot coals and a jar of water. He ate and drank, and he laid down again to go to sleep. Then the angel came back a second time and touched him and said, Get up and eat again. Magpahinga, kumain, magpalakas, matulog. This is the first step in getting out of burnout. Sleep and eat. You've got to take care of your physical issues. When Elijah burned out and had depression, God didn't give him a lecture. God did not preach and scolded him. Ano ka ba? Hindi naman siya pinagalitan ng Diyos. God did not preach at him. God didn't yell at him. His first antidote against depression was to sleep and to eat. Ang galing ho, ano? Pinagpahinga siya ng Diyos, pinakain siya ng Diyos. Psalms 127 verse 2 says, God wants His loved ones to get their proper rest. Sometimes in life, the most spiritual thing to do is to rest, to go to sleep, to eat, to recharge our physical bodies. Sometimes, one good night's rest changes your perspective overnight. A good, long, full quality rest can recharge your soul, recharge your mind, and recharge your emotions. Never make a decision when you're depressed. It will almost always be wrong. Huwag kang gagawa ng kung ano-anong mga desisyon o aksyon kapag ka-depressed ka. Madalas mali yung kahantungan nito. Never make a major decision when you're tired. It's almost always wrong. This is the second. What do you do when you feel down? How do you get up when you are down? Release your frustrations. You see, revealing your feelings is the beginning of healing. Kapag ka umaamin daw tayo sa kung anong nararamdaman natin sa loob at nagpapakatotoo tayo sa Diyos, when we admit our feelings, we start to heal and we start to recover from depression. You're not going to get to feel good again until you learn how to express those feelings in your heart that you have been holding in. Kapag ka may tinatago, may kinikimkim ka pang galit o tampo o lungkot, hindi ka makaka-recover sa depression. So the second step in dealing with burnout and depression is to face your frustrations and talk to God about it. Just say, God, this is the way I feel. Express your feelings. Lay them all out. After you talk to God, then you can talk to other people. In 1 Kings 19, verses 9 to 10. Then he went into a cave and spent the night. God said, "What are you doing here, Elijah?" And he replied, "I've been very zealous for the Lord, but..." And so Elijah begins to unload everything he is harboring in his heart. Yun, nilabas niya sa Diyos lahat ng kanyang tinatago sa kanyang puso. Lahat ng kanyang galit at tanong at tampo. At lahat ng kanyang disappointment and frustrations. God was not shocked when Elijah was complaining. He was not shocked with what Elijah felt. When Elijah said, "God, I'm angry, and I'm bitter, and I'm depressed, and I'm lonely," God was not surprised. God did not say, "You should not feel that way." God did not dismiss. God instead listened. So, ganoon din daw tayo kapag tayo ay nagsusumbong sa Diyos at nagsasabi ng ating mga nararamdaman. God knows your feelings better than you do. So, hindi natin dapat tinatago sa Diyos. And by talking them out, it helps you get in touch with what you're feeling and thinking. Ayan. So, minsan daw ho, kailangan natin magbuhos sa Diyos ng ating mga nararamdaman. Naalala ko ho, nung ako ay nag-go through ng depression, many years ago. Tulog na ho si Mrs., tulog na yung anak ko. Mag-isa ako sa sala. Bigla ho akong umiyak. Kasi patong-patong ho yung aking problema. Financially, physically, emotionally, spiritually, I feel so drained. Parang burnout na naging depression. Iyak ho ako. Sabi ko, "Lord, daya-daya. Parang di ko na yata kaya. Lord, tulungan mo nga ako." After a while, parang bigla akong in-encourage ng Panginoon. God gave me a vision that day. And then I saw my wedding vows. Alam niyo ba yun? Parang flashback, ano? Parang pinakita sa akin ng Diyos. Parang nag-video player sa aking isip. Yung aming marriage vows nung kami ay kinasal ng misis ko. And I was saying my vows. For better or for worse, for richer or for poorer. And then I said, I don't have money, I don't have a bank account, but I have God, and I have you. We will be okay. Yun ho yung aking gist ng aking marriage vows. And I started crying. And I said, "Lord, thank you, Lord." Parang sinasabi sa akin ng Panginoon, "Anak, hindi kita bibitawan. Huwag kang bibitaw sa akin. Hawak kita. I will see you through." And so after that experience, encounter with God, I had this peace. Now, my problems were not solved right away. And some of them are still not solved. But I have peace. I have confidence that God will see me through. The third thing we can do when you feel down, how do you get up? Is to refocus on God. Get your eyes off your problem and start looking at God. Get a fresh awareness of God's power and presence in your life. This is the third key to Elijah's overcoming his depression. Tingnan natin. Verse 11 says, "Go out and stand before me on the mountain," the Lord told him. God said, "Elijah, I want you to get alone with me. There's something that I want you to see." Yan, parang nakakatulong daw na ma-overcome ang ating burnout tsaka depression. Kapag nawawala ang ating paningin at ang ating pansin sa ating mga problema, bagkus tayo ay nakatutok at nakatingin sa Panginoong Diyos, sa kabaitan ng Diyos, sa katapatan ng Diyos, sa pag-ibig ng Diyos, at sa mga pangako ng Diyos sa atin. Yun ang ginawa ng Diyos kay Elijah. I want you to spend time with me. I want you to look and see who I really am and what I can do for you. So in the next few verses, God puts on a massive, spectacular, incredible event for Elijah. No? Galing ho, no? First, He gives this spectacular hurricane wind. Then He gives an earthquake. Then He gives a firestorm. Then He speaks in a still small voice. What was God doing? He was reminding Elijah of His power. I am in control. God seems to say, I am sovereign. You think things are bad, but my power is far greater than any problem you will face. I am in control. Ayan, so parang pinapakita ng Diyos kay Elijah. Anak, ako bahala sa'yo. Kita mo ba ang kapangyarihan ko? Nakita mo ba itong hanging ito? Itong kulog na ito? Itong lindol na ito? Ako ang bahala sa'yo. Yan. I am in control. He was saying, focus on me, not on your problem. God is telling and reminding Elijah of His sovereignty, of His control, of His power, that God is in charge. Why? Because at the root of all burnout and depression is our tendency of taking the role of God. Yun daw talaga madalas ang dahilan kung bakit tayo nabe-burn out at nadidepress. Ay dahil parang gusto natin tayo lahat ang umako ng mga problema instead na magtiwala tayo sa Diyos. When you start living as if you are God, when you start acting as if God does not matter, like you have to make it all work out apart from God, that you are in charge, and that you're in control, and that you're the manager of life, that you are the manager of the universe, you are setting yourself up for burnout. Nako, problema ko rin ho ito, no? This tendency to manage my life, and to take charge of everything in my life, and to be in control of my world, instead of depending on God. This tendency to take the role of God leads to burnout and depression. So God is saying to Elijah, let me be God. Quit trying to be God yourself. I am God. You are not. That's why you are so tired. Because we were not wired. We were not designed to be God. We're human. And you're not superhuman. And you are definitely not God. So when I'm stressed out, I get alone with God. And I refocus on God's power and not my problems. Yun yung ginawa ni Lord kay Elijah. This is the fourth. How do you get up when you are down? Resume serving others. Stop thinking about yourself all the time and start thinking about others who are less fortunate than you. So when you're in pain and all you can see is yourself, mas maganda raw ho na makita mo rin yung problema ng iba. When all you see is your pain, you will tend to be depressed. But when you also see and care for the pain of others, you will see things more clearly. You'll find somebody who is more in pain than you are. So one of the ways of getting out of burnout and depression is to start giving your life away again in helping somebody else. Minsan daw ho, ang paraan para matanggal ang ating depression ay kapag meron tayong tinutulungan iba na may dinadaan ng mas mabigat kumpara sa atin. The more you give your life away, the more God blesses you, and the more you forget about your own problems and your own pain. God gave Elijah a new assignment. He said, "Go back the way you came to the desert of Damascus. When you get there, anoint Hazael and Jehu and Elisha." So, God said, you're going to do ministry with a team now. Hindi ka na mag-isa ngayon, bibigyan kita ng mga kasama. Because you were never meant to do it alone. You serve in the context of the community of other believers. God gives Elijah a new assignment to help him out of his depression. Minsan, ang galing ho ng Diyos, binibigyan tayo ng ministry, binibigyan tayo ng mission, binibigyan tayo ng mga gagampan ng tungkulin para malimutan natin yung ating mga sariling pasanin. God wanted Elijah to realize that God was not finished with him. Elijah thought it was over. He said, "It's over. I'm ready to die. Lord, kunin mo na ako. Ayoko nang mabuhay. Take my life." But God said, "No, I've got a lot more to do through you. I'm not finished with you yet." And so the quickest way to defeat depression is to get your eyes off yourself and start focusing on helping others. So Elijah needed to get his eyes off himself. Elijah needed to get outside of himself. Nakita niya na marami pa palang pwedeng tulungan. Meron pa pala akong mga taong tuturuan. Meron pa pala akong mga kasamahan na pwede kong samahan. Marami pa palang pinapagawa ang Diyos sa akin. You have to find a ministry. You have to find a place to serve. So you have to stop just focusing on yourself and start focusing on helping others. And that will bring back your joy. That will bring back your passion. That will bring back your vision. So, let me summarize. How do you get up when you are down? First, you rest your body. Minsan daw ang paraan para ma-defeat ang depression ay kapag pinapahinga natin ang ating katawan, pinapahinga natin ang ating kaluluwa, pinapalakas natin ang ating mga sarili. Number 2, release your frustrations. Minsan daw ang pinaka-magaling na gamot sa depression ay kapag nilalabas natin ang ating mga nararamdaman sa Panginoon. When you release your frustrations and disappointments and doubts to God. Number 3 is you refocus on God. When we stop focusing on our problems and start focusing on what God can do, then we can defeat depression. And number 4, when we resume others. When we stop focusing on our own pain and start caring and helping for others who are in more difficult pain, then we can overcome our own discouragements, our own despair, and our own depression. Nawa po ay tayo ay napagpala at natulungan. When you're going through dark times, when you're going through difficult moments in your life, I pray and I hope that you will be able to overcome your depression, that you will be able to look to God and hang on, that you will be able to work with others and know that you are loved and know that there is hope in spite of what we go through in life, in spite of the dark and difficult and down moments of our lives. God is still there, working, loving, caring, and seeing us through. God bless you.